episode on education system, but this one's a bit different. This time we have guests to talk about their own experiences when it comes to school and schooling, and obviously when it comes to things like discipline, how discipline affects your life in the long run. So, 2 guests. First man, introduce yourself, bro.
Yo, it's Morgan. Yeah.
Well, okay. Who is Morgan, fam? Why are you telling me it's Morgan?
Who's Morgan? Tell us who Morgan is.
Luton man know Morgan. What? We're international now, fam.
International, I say now. Gee, obviously, I met Kamal at Leland's and Pine Hill back in the day. But moved to Cardinal Newman. Met my brothers over here.
Come on.
Yeah, so ever since then, it's been bro.
Oh, what are you doing now, bro?
Gee, I just play rugby professionally now in college.
I said it all come back.
That's
a professional rugby player.
That's big.
I don't like showing that too much.
Nah, I hear that stuff.
Humble.
Second guest, who are you, bro?
Obviously, my name's Samuel. I feel like I'm more well known as the General, you get me? Get out my Instagram, The General's Diary, for all your fitness purposes and needs. But yeah, I met these guys at school. I went to the same school as them, Cardinal Newman. So I feel like that's my place with regards to today's discussion. But yeah, I'm here. It's nice to meet. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be here and that. And yeah, I appreciate what you man are doing. So I like it.
It's nice having you, man.
I'm gonna hop in though. This one's a very vague question at first, but obviously I just like it that way. So obviously you man could just kind of take it wherever you want. Throughout your schooling life, do you ever feel like there's ever been an agenda against you, fam? Or do you ever feel like you've been targeted in any way?
I'll jump in first. I think I'll kind of play devil's advocate early in the argument. I think there's been times I've been on both sides. There's been times where I've felt like teachers have kind of bigged me up a little bit more to motivate me to push myself. But I feel like that's mainly because I was one of the kind of quote unquote bad kids, but I was kind of smart. But at the same time, you know, there's been like those teachers that have, for some reason, that at a young age I couldn't understand, would just target me and pick on me and seem to like want me to get in trouble. And you know, growing up now with retrospect in mind, I would, you know, I'm gonna say it's race, because why else would a teacher that's supposed to mentor and nurture you target a kid who's just trying to, you know, do well and things like that? So I feel like I've been on both sides of the argument, and I know a lot of people can't say that in a way.
No, I'd say I would say that with regards to an agenda, I feel like it has to do with like your status and just how you're viewed, if you get what I'm saying. Because I feel like me as an individual, like from young, I've always been like an outspoken person. You get me? So it's like if I feel there's a certain sense of prejudice or like just ill intent towards me, I'll speak out against it. You get me? And obviously, when you're in a system where there's authority, there's levels of authority, they may not like to, you know, receive that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like once that's, you know, placed as part of my character, and then I've got my people around me who are like maybe similar stature to me, they look similar to me, and it's like they're backing my agenda, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it leads the teachers specifically to view us as a, you know, demographic in a certain light, you know what I'm saying? Simply because they feel like if they want to associate negativity, they'll associate with what we're doing, and they feel like if they have like a standard or something, we're going to be the ones to speak out against it. So I feel like, you know, in certain senses.
Like on what you're saying as well, like on being outspoken, and if something's like wrong, you're going to say something about it. A lot of the times, as much as we're young, like we can still speak sense.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and the problem is with a lot of the teachers is that they don't listen. They just see the loud black kids, and they just assume, oh, there's that one black kid that's bad, so they're all bad. Literally. You know, society told you we're all bad, so it doesn't matter what he's saying. They're not even trying to work out whether he's talking sense or not. They just hear the loud black kids, and they're like, how can we shut them up, or how can we keep them quiet? Do you know what I mean?
Also, I feel like you see, because we're in like school for like 5 years, and it's like the majority of our time is spent there. I feel like you being in the same place for a long amount of time, it makes people accustomed to their perspective of you. You know what I'm saying? And if someone doesn't really take time to get to know you as an individual, then it's hard for them to change the way they view you. So it's like, if maybe we've had a few encounters where you've told me to do something and I haven't really agreed with what you've said, and I've let you know about that, you're gonna take me as that's the kind of person I am, instead of let me really try to get to know this person and why they think like this. I feel like that's another reason why the agenda is placed.
And to be honest, it should be their responsibility, because they're the teachers, and like you said, we're spending most days with them, most of the hours in that day with them, and it's their job to teach us. So for them to I know some teachers might say it's my job to teach you, that's it. But if I'm with you for that amount of time, you're basically looking after me for the day. You need to get to know each individual person.
You're 100%.
You know what I mean? So you can maybe micromanage rather than just kind of generalizing the whole demographic of kids and then treating them all the same, because they're not all the same.
That's the thing though, especially with teachers. Say we did get in trouble, we couldn't even defend ourselves. Because think about it, you try to talk back, well, you're not even talking back, you defend yourself. This first line is, don't talk back to me, don't do that. And you get into further trouble. So it got to a point where if you are in trouble, even if they're wrong or not, we just got to accept it.
And it's the way that they say don't talk back to me as well, fam.
I feel like that's more of the higher level teachers, like the head teachers, the deputy head teachers.
Authority.
Yeah, exactly. They think that we don't understand anything, so they need to talk to us like we're not human, essentially.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, we're young, we're learning, and there is gonna be levels of authority that we have to respect. But like what you said, there's still a level of respect that I feel like some teachers just think, they don't care. Especially as we got older, cool, primary school, whatever, it's still bad or whatever. High school now, we're becoming young men, young women, and that the things we're talking about are still in place, they're still there, and obviously we're going to want to speak out more because we're starting to understand the world a bit more. And I feel like a lot of teachers, a lot of schools, a lot of systems just punish that, and then that can be so dangerous in a way, because it can teach you to go out into the world and just say, alright, I'm not allowed to question things or speak out against things when I don't like them.
You just become a yes man.
Or it can just make you angry. And if you go out into the world angry and you just use emotion to fuel your decisions, you've kind of lost the battle.
Just be destructive.
100%. So it's dangerous.
How do we go about changing that though? Because obviously you man have been in that position where you want to talk back or you want to be heard. One thing I want to ask you, man, is when it comes to speaking to the younger generation, how would you kind of advise them to navigate that? How do you navigate that space in which you already have that reputation of being the bad guy, or the reputation of being the outspoken person? How do you navigate that and still kind of make your way through high school and trying to change teachers' perception of you?
You've got to be patient. You can't just work on emotion and anger. Even if the teacher's coming up to you and saying you did this and that, and for a fact you wasn't even there, you was on the other side of school, you just got to speak to them calmly, stay patient. It's not fair, because there's times where teachers are annoyed and they're just shouting at you and carrying on, but that's because it's a bigger problem, because obviously, sorry to diverge from the question a bit, but this is a similar problem to, I think, with that we have with the police. The type of people that get into these jobs, a lot of people say there's this thing with the police that there's kids that were bullied at when they were younger and stuff, and they go in the police force to kind of let out their anger. The same way, I'm not saying it's the same with teachers, but there's certain people doing these jobs that have character problems themselves, and they're supposed to be in charge of managing me. So I think as even though we're kids, we've got to understand they're humans, they got faults as well. So even if they're wrong, cool, that, you can tell another teacher that or something, but just stay calm. Do you know what I mean?
When it comes to the thing where, because that's when add on something you said, as in, because you need to realise the age of some of these teachers as well, fam. Some of these teachers were educated in a time in which it was normal to kind of treat black kids a bit different. You see what I mean? Some of them were even educated in schools in which there were no black kids. You see what I mean? So we need to look into all of that.
And they probably, them same teachers of that age bracket, they probably don't use social media and that. They're probably not exposed like to the media to the point where they understand that things are changing a lot. So in their head, you know, it's still the same. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I would say I had a conversation with my little brother the other day, and I would say that my little brother is similar to me with regards to how we just portray ourselves back when, you know, I was in school, and I can see the similarities in him. Like he's someone who he feels like when he's, you know, unjustly treated even, he'll speak out against it and he'll let it be known. However, that's led to numerous emails being sent home, and it feels like everyone's against him, even my parents and that. But one thing I'll say, like looking back through his eyes and through my eyes, I said to him that you know what it is, yeah, everything you're saying to me, I believe you. You know what I'm saying? Because back then, I used to feel like no one believed what I was saying, and I was just talking rubbish. But everything you're saying to me, I believe you. And the harsh reality is that even though I believe you, and you're speaking out against these teachers, like they're not going to listen to your valid points. And I feel like what you need to do is take time to analyze. Through my time being here, which teachers do I see are against me, and which ones do I see that they're civil, and which ones do I see that are on my side? You get me? The ones that are on your side, you need to get nice with them. You get me? Take time, become friendly with them. The civil ones, you leave them to do their thing, you know, interact. And the ones who are against you, try to avoid them as much as possible. But if you do end up engaging with them, you need to think about how you treat them, because you can't treat everyone the same way, because everyone's different. And it's like one little thing you might say to someone else, it will be received differently, and you'll be in trouble for no reason. You get me? So when you're interacting with these teachers who are against you, just take time, bide your time. Don't say anything that you know will aggravate them, and try to be overly nice. Not to the point where you seem that you're trying to, you know, be rude or sarcastic or anything, but just to, you know, compensate for the fact that they don't like you, but don't give them a reason to be against you. Cause literally, when I take time to look back, it's like I enjoyed high school, but because there was times that I was being put in trouble quite a lot, it didn't let me experience the memories that all my other friends have, because I wasn't around at the time. You get me? But it's like looking back, it wasn't until you take time to reflect that you realize I could have really changed it. It's good to put all the blame on the teachers. It's nice, but sometimes you need to look back. What was my take? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a great example of mentorship. Like, I know your little brother, but still, I know Prince loves a bit of mentorship. But it's true, like, and it's kind of sad that we're asking this of such young kids. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to step back and analyze the situation. And like you said, you've got to know this person you can do this with, but this person you can't. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a great bit of advice as well. Because even carrying that on in life, like in a workplace or like wherever you go, it's just true. Like there might be one boss you can bust jokes with, another boss, you do your work, you go home, and it just keeps you out of trouble. So I think that's a great bit of mentorship.
Well, it just shows the growth in Samuel though, because it could be. Think about the position he was in. It's so easy for him just to blame the teachers, everyone else. They never listened to me. I was never in the wrong. But he took back, reflected, and now he's giving that knowledge to his little brother, which he could now give on to other people. You see what I'm saying?
You know, Samuel, I like what you're talking about. It's a thing where there's this one thing that you keep bringing up, even if it's implicitly that you bring up. You're bringing up reputation. So I actually want to speak on that for a while, because one thing you even said was that you need to kind of judge what teachers you do have a good relationship with and which teachers you do have a bad relationship with. But I think we need to realise here is that teachers talk, you know. Teachers talk. Teachers, what's it called? They go into that staff room and you don't think they be gossiping.
No, 100%.
They stick together as well. Even if that teacher you think is your best friend, who do you think they're backing?
You see what I mean? You don't think these teachers know you, you know. You see what I mean? It's even a thing where in school, I don't know if you pre the whiteboard, obviously when you're watching the whiteboard, obviously sometimes you'll see their email come up in it. When something big happens in school, every teacher in the school will get an email. They know.
But I feel like with regards to that, it's a situation where it's like certain situations you're placed in don't define you. You get me? Because it's like something crazy could happen in school, but your friends are still going to keep 100 of you. 100%. Your friends are going to change up. So I feel like with what I said, like finding, you know, differentiating all the teachers, I mean, it's like really seeing who is down for you. You get me? So don't, maybe because she's nice to everyone, like if she's actually taken time out of her lesson or day to, you know, cater for you as a student, then yeah, that's what I mean. You get me? Those are the people you should stick by. Who, even though they're hearing bad things, they're saying, "Listen, come on, man. This doesn't define you. You need to keep your head up." Those are the people you should be around because they'll help you moving forward as a student. You get me? That's what I think.
More time you find that in the black teachers, you know.
It's true.
You actually find that in the black teachers. I know I found that through Mr. Governor. That was my main teacher, who I could speak to about anything, you know.
One thing I wanna touch on, because Samuel and I have both done this. When we've been speaking about teachers, we've said she. So do you think that's just by chance, or do you think that's got something to do with the fact that female teachers are maybe
that is serious.
They're more of the teachers we feel like we can go to and trust compared to the male teachers?
Like, let me just I can't like when I said she, I even thought about it in my head. I didn't mean to generalize though. I can't.
It's not even generalization. What I'm trying to say is maybe that's because
what I'm saying is that because I'll be real, I've had a lot of teachers, like male and female. I can't lie. I've had a lot who I really knew were in my corner. You get me? And through all the bad times, they're still supporting me. I'd say maybe other people's opinions, it might be more centralized to the females, but I feel like it just depends on them as an individual, to be honest. Like what their morals they have in that. So.
Okay. Furthermore, when it comes to what you've been through in school, how do you feel like it's translated to you guys' life after school? Because obviously, let's say one example is, you know how you deal with authority when it comes to school, obviously with teachers speaking down on you and stuff. When you go out to the workplace, and certain workplaces like that too. So I'm asking, how is kind of the lessons that you've learned through school kind of translated to your life since?
Probably like holding your tongue a lot more, especially dealing with police, I should say.
Wow, yeah.
Because if you're talking to a police officer and they're not showing you the courtesy of respect, then you can't really do anything. Because if you do, then you're nicked, essentially. So that's when you have to just hold your tongue and just swallow your pride and just walk away.
No, I agree with
That's
that.
I think that's the biggest one for me. Because I said last night, I think on Twitter or something, like pride will be the death of me. Because that's a big part of who I am. And learning that sometimes I just gotta let stuff go. Even if I, in my head, think or know I am 100% correct, I just gotta let things go sometimes.
True.
No, I say as well, I feel like with regards to the question, in school, it's like I feel like I just didn't understand the world. You get me? I feel like that was my life, my whole life, and that's what it was gonna be. So it's like because of that, I wanted to control everything that affected me.
Wow,
and it's a situation where I realized that going through life is that once you leave school, you've left school. You get me? Like you've gone back to life, and school's just a memory. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that with regards to how you interact with people, you need to just make sure it's patterned and that. Because back then I used to think like the teachers were just authority, you get me? Like the way they treated you, like they're just crazy people. That's how I used to view them. But it's like looking back now, like they're human beings just like myself. You know what I'm saying? Like they went to school, they went to uni, they got their qualification to become a teacher. You get me? I didn't view them from that light. I feel like simply because we didn't have that kind of relationship, so I didn't get the opportunity to view them like that. But it's like looking back now, it's like they're human beings. It's like if you're nice to another human being, you're gonna receive that back. But it's like every time you see me, I'm always being cocky. I'm always being arrogant. You're gonna view me in a wrong light. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's about interaction and what Morgan said about holding your tongue as well. Because some people really talk some rubbish to you and they'll be condescending and all of that. But you just need to rise above it because it doesn't control you, literally.
Yeah. With that, speaking from like the teacher's perspective, how does like that make you feel if like a 15-year-old kid is just talking rubbish to you? Like,
on top of that, he's right as well. In the midst of a crowd of people, he's right. You're gonna look. It's literally like back in the day. I'll be real. Everyone knows me. I'll put so much blame on these teachers. I hate them with such a passion. But I realize that
us versus them.
If I let that define me, it's not gonna let me be a positive person moving forward. You get me? Because at the end of the day, they will all work in their job. I'll be real though. Some of them, they did do bad things. Don't get twisted. No, that's a fact, innit? But it's a situation where it's how am I going to rise above as a human being? That's a lesson. How am I going to learn from it? That's how I'm taking it.
It's true. And also, when you spend all your time fighting against this authority, it ends up being a waste, fam.
Literally.
You look back, you got
doing it for what?
Literally.
Because the people who weren't fighting authority, they have their qualifications now. They're probably a bit better than you end up getting.
I think it's crazy what we said. As in, like, this is just a stage. I think a lot of kids don't realise that like school is just a stage of the life.
Bro.
It's a small stage.
Once you've left, you've left.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
what I'm
fact.
saying. Like there might be some that go on to further education and some that don't, and both do fine. It's just this ain't the rest of your life. So if you just kind of like knuckle down and get a pattern, like you're just gonna move on to the next.
Yeah, it's
stage.
just gonna pause.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
At the time, it seems like it though.
That I was gonna say, we were at that age. We thought school was everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true, fam. That's how they designed the system, bro.
Missing 3 days, get hurt, fam. Miss something in school, and everyone's like, oh,
Yeah, Mr. Matty.
Okay, but another thing about the pride thing, I feel like another issue is kind of people's reputations at school. Because say you're considered bad man kind of thing. When a teacher talks back to you, you have that couple of students like, oh, you're gonna have that, or you're gonna have that, and that's kind of feeding into your pride kind of thing. Because now you're thinking, raw, I can't look like a waste man in front of my friends, even though you know I shouldn't talk back to the teacher. You're in front of your pupils, you want to be seen as that person still. So now if you take that same scenario outside now, and it's a police kind of authority, and you're not gonna have that, are you gonna have it? Because you're gonna have it. Let's be real, you're going to have it, and you have to.
Also,
if you don't, you're done. You've messed yourself up just because of that pride kind of thing.
Also, it's a thing where in school you kind of get away with stuff more because there's discipline in school, yeah, but it's nothing compared to the discipline in real life.
In real life,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Even when it comes to something like fighting,
That's what.
You can
That's
have
what I
the same
mean.
thing. You can have a whole
You can have a
brawl
mad
and stuff.
scrap out on the street and you're going home. It's mad.
The amount of fights we had
Whether
in
you won or
uni,
lost,
the amount of wars we had in uni. If we take those beef outside, all of us are bagged, man. Real talk.
That's a criminal record.
Yeah, record
One
done.
time
Yeah.
you're out for the count.
One thing
See what
about
I mean?
me, I used to always love to say, I don't care if a man disrespects me. I'm fighting. Bro, are you mad? Like university, for example. If I have a fight in university as a black man, and I'm one of the few black men in my university, I'm out.
Yeah.
Police are
See what I
involved.
mean?
But it's not. Yeah, it's completely different. It's completely
See?
different. So we did get away, not get away, but like it kind of got us ready for the real world.
No, I think it's all about the growth, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you transition through life, different realities just come and start hitting you. You get me? And you like the things that I used to be my main focus back in school, like fighting, or maybe actually that's not the main focus, but like you get me? It's like that's at the back of my mind now because there's so many other aspirations and things that I need to be getting done. You get me? So it's just a period of growth and just everyone in school, you just need to hold your head up, literally, because the time is coming. You're gonna leave there and pursue whatever you want to pursue.
Just a stage.
There's also a thing here. One thing I want to point out when it comes to reputation. Reputation's a bit different in our generation, because you need to beep it. There's data on everything you do, Every single time you've been sent to remove is on data. It's on. You see what I mean? It's on the system. Every time you get your name on the board, it's on the system. You see what I mean? When you're transitioning from teacher to teacher, they get that whole file, fam.
So before they even meet you, they already have that perception of
You
you.
see what I
Understand?
mean? You see what I mean? It even goes deeper than that, because I think I was sitting in drama class one day. It's probably like year 9 or something, and I forgot the teacher's name. I mean, I don't even say the teacher's name, but the drama teacher must have gone to Sims, obviously our database in school, and she searched up her own name, fam, and her file came up from when she was in high school, fam. So this file from 20, 30 years ago was still there, fam.
Man needs to be deleting those files.
You see what I mean? It's a thing where when your jobs and stuff start asking for references, they're gonna pull up your file, You see what I mean? So this beef that you went through in school, like it's gonna follow you, fam, and data is forever. You see what I mean? Data is actually forever. Yeah,
and you got to add that on top of the fact that we're black men, black
That's what I
women,
mean.
and that's just another preconception they're gonna have. And unfortunately, it falls down to us to break those preconceptions.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's a fact. What Prince said is a fact, but it's not me. Like it doesn't define you. Define me. You get me? Like that's why. It's all about the growth, innit? You get me? Like I can't leave that point because it needs to be stressed. Like right now, we're all around 19, 20. It's like we can all say from the people we were in high school, and it's like we've all known each other. Like most of us went to the same school. We've changed drastically, and I feel like that's a great thing. You get me? Because we thought that this period of time that we were in, it was defining us as human beings. However, we've been through many life experiences which has continued to define us as human beings, and it's always us learning from our experiences and learning. So I feel like, yeah, obviously they'll bring up the files, the what's it called, the receipts and that. But listen, there's a receipts, and I'll show you new ones. You know what I'm saying?
That's true, bro.
It's not only that though. Like the teacher will look at you. You have a side bag. You wear 95s, hoodie. You'll think you're a gangster already.
Hundreds, man.
Already. Because they'll be watching these drill videos and think, oh yeah, he wears that, so he must be part of him.
He's one of them, yeah.
It's not even, you don't even have to go out and search for the drill videos. I think I seen this thing on Twitter. I think it was on Twitter like yesterday. I think they were talking about cocaine or something. I don't know if anyone's seen that. They were talking about cocaine on, I think, I don't want to say it wrong. It might be Daily Mail. It was like an article about cocaine, and they were talking about cocaine in the youth. And even though in the article they showed the statistics, and it was what, like 95% white people or something, and I think it was 0.02% black people who were on cocaine and stuff. The picture that they used at the top was from a drill video.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
It's the media of that's another topic.
You know how people aren't gonna read that long article.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they're gonna see the picture.
And they know that. And they know that.
Bang, they're gonna see cocaine. They're gonna see the gang.
The big picture, the big headline. That's it.
Bang. You see what I mean, man?
I just feel like when things are viewed on the outside, say for example us guys, we're a group of friends as a collective. Someone views us from the outside, they see me and Morgan in a tracksuit and, jump to their assumptions. However, this is the most comfortable piece of clothing for me.
You know them ones.
You see, it's so sad that all the school shoes they used to make back in the day were terrible. Like none of them were comfortable. My 95s were comfortable. You get me? That's why I would wear them. You get me? The blazer, I just felt it looked butters. You get me? That's why I wasn't messing with it. So it's like
I fucked with my blazer.
each to their own, did it. But I feel like because these are the conclusions that are being jumped to. It just leads people to, stereotype, use prejudice, all of those things in it. But that's why I said it comes back to the relationships you have in it. Because if you know me as an individual, regardless of what you're seeing, you know what I'm on. Like, you know what kind of person I am. So it's like you'll judge me according to that. Yeah.
But in knowing that just makes us. We just have to be extra careful in a way, especially being black males. We have to be extremely careful, man. Because even talking about records, if we get a record on our file, do you know how difficult it's going to be any job, you guys? For real.
And the thing is, you don't beat. Whenever you're going for a job, you're applying for university, whatever, they always ask that little question, any criminal convictions. And because we don't have any, we just pass it. Bro, can you imagine actually having one and knowing, damn, like, I'm probably not going to get
because once you do that, that's a whole nother set of questions and fields you have to go through. Like.
And someone might be the exact same to you, but doesn't have that conviction.
Or you might even be better. You might have better qualifications, but because you have that conviction.
And see how many of you man in here have searched for jobs before, fam. Even as someone who doesn't have a record, fam.
It's still difficult sometimes.
Hard,
No cap.
Especially with COVID.
Yeah, that's real. No, it's real.
Yeah, that's facts though, I'll be real. I remember, obviously, I was seen as a bad guy back in the day, and that, even though I wasn't, but subject to opinion. And it came to, work experience and that.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I was not allowed to do work experience.
Oh, same
I wasn't allowed to do work experience, and I can't lie. Moving forward, when everyone was trying to apply for jobs and that, all the guys are telling me, yeah, I'm working here, I'm working there. Listen, when I tell you I was on my bike, dropping my CV in every store around, I'm not hearing nothing. You get me? I got 1-2 interviews that asked me for experience, and I'm having to give some cap in my rap. And I'm saying it's so bad, but glory be to God. We still prevailed in that. We still doing our thing. Like,
why weren't you allowed to do work experience?
Hey, I was excluded for 8.5 days. Though.
Oh, I remember in my school they did some people like that as well. And it's kind of mad because, like, if you're in a position where you're getting excluded, like, they should be trying to, like, get you out of that situation where you're doing those things wrong. And stopping you doing work experience, which is only going to be good for you in the future. No one could explain to me how that is helping the situation. Like, that's not just punishing you in the moment, that's punishing you for your future.
That's
what
I mean.
And that's trying to just keep you in a vicious cycle. So yeah, I don't know, like, there's a lot of things with the school system that it's not even that they don't make sense, like, I just don't see how they're positive to the nurturing and the growth of the children, and that's what school is supposed to be about.
I would say that I feel personally that if I wasn't such a strong-minded and willed individual, that there could have been many points in the school like period where I just broke down. You get me? And just either got kicked out of school, ended up doing something terrible or just rubbish with my life or something like that. Even though some people get kicked out of school and still do whatever they need to do and succeed. But but I just feel like there were times when I was really being brought down. You get me? I feel like no one's listening to me and that. Speak to my teachers, they're treating me as if I'm talking rubbish. I'll complain to my parents. My parents will like act as if I'm just going against authority. So it's like I feel like you're just trapped in a corner and no one to speak to, and then you're having to deal with all these emotions inside your head, and it's like there's no escape, because when you get to school, you're gonna be received with the same drama. You get home, your parents will be shouting at you for whatever reason and that. So I feel like sometimes it can actually get long for you as an individual, but you have to keep your head up, innit? You know what I'm saying?
And it's important to have someone, to feel like you've got someone on your side, because like you said, you come home and that's supposed to be like the people backing you, and a lot of the times they're just going to listen. The parents, as much as they love you, they want the best for you, and they're going to assume that, okay, you're not working hard enough, you're not getting the grades, and they're going to listen to the teacher, and they're going to do the same thing that's happening in school, and they're going to punish you. So you go to school, you're getting punished, you come home, you're getting punished, and you're just like, I need a break.
Yeah, literally.
So it's crazy.
One other thing I wanted to mention though, or just like talk about, that kind of just take us somewhere else here, is talking about sets. You like sets in like math set, English set, all of that, how sets can kind of keep you down, Sets can kind of hold your achievement. Because I know, speaking from a maths perspective, there's certain things they don't teach you depending on what set you're in. You see what I mean? Someone in set 2 could never get a grade 9 in maths. Like Lisa Newman, they could never get a grade 9 in maths. They could stretch at 8. You see what I mean? That's why no one in set 2 got a grade 9 or grade 8. You see what I mean? They teach you different things depending on what set you're in. How do you might feel about that? And obviously, what sets were you in? You see what I mean? This type of thing.
But on surface value, that's so limiting. Like, can you imagine you're in a set and it's not even necessarily solely down to your ability. It's more down to the teachers.
What they think you're capable of.
They don't really, they haven't assessed you properly, or maybe on that assessment day you just didn't do what you could have, and that's now shaped your whole future in terms of GCSEs, which has then now shaped your A levels. Maybe what it's crazy, like kind of the butterfly effect that comes from it. So I think it's on surface level it's scary. I was privileged because I think most of like my school life I was in, for most of my subjects I was in the top sets, so I kind of never had to worry about whether I was learning like the top level stuff. But I can imagine I think there was a time for maths I was in set 2, and I think at the time I was even worried about the same thing you're talking about, because you're kind of like, okay, cool, I want to get back to set 1, but I don't want to be behind, and it's kind of scary. It's another layer of things you need to worry about now. So like keeping up with the work, but making sure you're not falling behind. But how do you do that when you're not even getting the same level of work that other kids are getting?
That's the thing, because I mentioned on our older podcast that I moved through math sets quite a lot, and there's certain things I can list now that I never learned because I moved from set 3 to 2 to 1. You see what I mean? So when I was in set 3, there were things set 1 were learning that by the time I got to set 1, there was no space to learn it. You see what I mean? Obviously, you can't go out and learn something that you didn't know you had to learn. You see what I mean? It's that sort of thing. One thing I want to speak to is obviously you two were in the same English set as me, fam. Obviously, when it comes to year 11, we were all in that all boys set.
All boys one.
They just chucked us
that
in
was
there.
actually stupid.
In the little classroom by the gate.
Fam, we weren't even in a classroom.
You weren't even in the class.
We weren't even in the school building, bro. We were literally like out near the entrance, bro.
When we said all boys set, I'm thinking,
How do you man feel about the old boys thing that they did though?
I never understood it from.
It was kind of mad. It was kind of. Wait, was it year 10 and 11 or just year 11?
Which teacher did you guys have as well?
Missed
We had Garvey and Masonda.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, we had good teachers though. So I respect. That's the only reason that it worked.
That's what I mean.
At all.
And what grades did you guys end up getting?
I did well in English.
5, I think.
Yeah,
I got a 4.
I got a 6 in English.
Because I'll be real. Obviously, I can't lie, my class was live still.
It was live.
Yeah,
it was
live.
That's the problem. It was
I had all the man of this. It was
a good class, man.
But hear this though, I feel like because my teachers were good as well. You get me? I feel like adding the element of the guys there with good teachers there, it kind of helps you stay focused to an extent, if you get what I'm saying. Because I feel like the combination of between boys and girls, and like maybe not having, you know, your specific people there may, you know, lead to you maybe feeling bored in class. You know, back then, like there was people who were really serious on the school thing, and then there was people who, like, you get to lesson, you want to really enjoy yourself. You get me? But I feel like having the combination of just your people there and you as well with your mindset, like, listen, I want to succeed. I feel like it would allow you to achieve, like, maybe the best that you can, you know, strive to achieve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me explain the all boys said that. I don't remember if it was year 10 or 11. But I think
it was both still.
Was it year 10 and 11?
Yeah, could have been both.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, because that's early though. Year 10, that's early though when you think about it. Because it was just random. I don't remember how we found out.
Random stuff.
It was actually just random.
We just got a new timetable.
Yeah,
like,
we got
went to
a
this
timetable.
class. Went to the class with all the man them. Like, what?
You get a timetable, you ask all your boys and they're all in the same class. You're like, how did this happen, fam? And yeah, so we all just got chucked into this room and they gave us a big speech about, oh yeah, this is the first time we're doing anything like this. Like, we're just going to try it out, this, that, the other. And yeah, so I was like, so yeah. But it was a thing where we also kind of felt limited. Obviously not in literature, but as in language, we were learning really low level stuff. You know? Like, we were learning really, really low level stuff. Probably stuff that set one would have learned in year 7 or 8.
Do you guys have any nuisances in your classes?
Yeah, no, definitely. Fam. I'm not gonna lie, 100%.
Yo,
Like, don't
100%.
Look at names.
I'll be real, my English class, yo. it was good at that, but yo, when those nuisances wanted to live up to their name, oh my goodness, it was long.
We even had that one day where we had the supply teacher.
Yeah, but I can't learn.
Which one, fam?
Nah,
She cried, you know. You know
The
what?
one took a while.
I forgot her name, fam. It was just what one random Asian one we had, fam.
Oh, when she left the classroom.
Yeah.
Crystal Hall.
And Mr. Garvey came back. Like,
Yeah, Mr.
guys,
Garvey came.
I heard last week that you guys were mean to this teacher.
Nah, it was so funny, fam. I don't remember what we were doing, fam. But the class was just so disruptive. The teacher left crying, and I think Mr. Smales had to come. And
he came from.
He had to teach two classes at once.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that day. Mr. Smalls was my teacher. I remember him leaving our class.
That's funny, fam. Oh my.
No, we all rated Mr. Smells though.
Nah,
so
that was my guy.
Yeah, I can't lie. He was a G, man.
He was my guy.
Nah, I rated Mr. Smells.
I big up Mr. Smells.
Real talk. Real talk, man.
I felt like we had a supply teacher for like a few months. Because obviously I remember Mr. Garvey's mother passed away.
Yeah, he had to go away for some personal reasons.
I don't remember.
We just had supply teachers.
Yeah.
We just had a different supply teacher every week.
That is a violation.
Yeah.
That is a
And
violation.
I think it was in year 11 as well. So they're just reading from a screen instead of actually teaching us.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about.
And English, especially at such a low set, you need that.
That's
you
what I
need
mean.
someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I mean?
So I feel like in that class there was definitely people on different abilities, but our teachers would know that. But because we didn't have that teacher, I had to supply a teacher, they don't really know how to like help that person, that individual kind of thing. So that's probably why some people kind of messed up.
And even those lessons were a bit different because even as Samuel said, you'd have fun in that class, you know. Like, you had a bit of room to vibe. You see what I mean? But when the supply teachers came, you're just sitting there like one jail cell, just reading off one screen or whatever, doing work off worksheets and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What else have I got there? Are you man staying for social media episode?
Yeah, I don't mind.
No, man, still. You guys have got me engaged.
That's the best time when you're hot.
Big up Project Noir as well, man. We're making moves in the world, man. Don't sleep on us. Don't sleep on us.
Yeah, you know that one. That's gonna be in the trailer, fam.
Trust me.
It's a bit in the trailer. Let me stop that there. But yeah, nah. If you're staying for social media, you might as well start that one now. You know? I don't even know.
Let me have a little mind first.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Unless you know on the chill. I don't know if I have anything else to talk about.
You man got some water, because obviously...
That's why I need to divert to the shots. I knew it could get long and that.
Floggy.
How much do you think you was drinking? It was long thing.
I like it.
I thought you very cold.
It's cold as well.
Take one just, just in case and that. You never know, man.
Take the cold one now.
What is it? Is this episode still running though? Like?
Yeah, but we like
We'll
cut
cut it
out.
out, yeah.
One of these are timestamps. I just need to cut out.
Are we ending this one or?
You got any more questions on the topic?
Like when I really take time to look back at high school, bro, it was crazy, man. It was actually so crazy. Situations I've been in, it was crazy, and like there was just times I was hitting breaking points. Like one teacher I even expected to be my people's, she snaked me, and I wanted to. I was so angry that day.
Speak your piece, man.
I was so. Alright, okay, cool. Alright, cool. So obviously, there's a point in time where in our school we do report system, like white report, pink report, and blue report. Blue report is the top tier. You get me? Like you don't want to be on that. And obviously, I was on blue report, and it's like when you're on blue report, it's like you'll get excluded, and then you'll get blue report, and then for like 2 weeks or something, and then you'll be off it. Please tell me I had blue report for like the whole of year 11. Like it was so annoying.
So they had that dumb rule, like if you got your name on the board, you got to stay there or something.
See, I don't know, but it's like blue report. You have to check in with your deputy head or whatever, SLT member, senior leadership team, beginning of the day, break time, lunchtime, and at the end of the day. So cool. Yeah, I was on blue report, and I think a situation happened or something, and because of that, I wasn't allowed to be in lessons or like go out for break and lunch. I was basically in isolation. And
Why did you even do that shit?
I wish I could tell you.
Question how effective that stuff
and it's like, bearing in mind, I was in like year 11, innit? So it's like this is the most crucial point.
That's what I mean.
So it's like that was an argument I posed towards them. Like, listen, this is year 11. How am I supposed to successfully, pass my GCSEs if I'm going to be in isolation 24/7? So because of that, they allowed me to go back to lessons, but then they like prohibited me from discussing anything with regards to the situation I was in.
That's even mad that he had to go out his own way to say, this is year 11, can I even go back to school?
They knew they were in the wrong.
Yeah, they knew. That's what I mean, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, so obviously, I'm in my lesson now. I think my teacher must have asked me why I haven't been in lessons. So I just briefly gave her an overview. I didn't go into too much depth, but I let her know. And then, yeah, cool. After the lesson now, there was a situation that happened in the morning where obviously I was accused of something, but it wasn't entirely correct. So a boy in my class was gonna then speak to the SLT member to kind of back my point up. You get me? So obviously I found her. Then I said, oh yeah, cool. I've got my friend with me, so he can tell you what happened. But then instead of her listening, she just completely disregarded what I said. She's like, yo, where's your teacher? Because the teacher had to walk me to the next lesson as if I was a baby or something. But cool, where's your teacher? I was like, oh yeah, she's on her way, but separately. My friend is here to let you know. And then she disregarded it. She was started to fume now. Like, where's your teacher? Like she's all angry and that. She walked away from me now, went to my teacher, and then I like this teacher. You get me? But then she snaked me. I think she said, oh yeah, I was talking about it all lesson, rubbish and that. Just snaked me. And next thing you know,
because she's trying to protect herself.
Bro, she the SLT member, she said, yo, listen, go to isolation and for the rest of the day.
Oh.
And this was probably first lesson in it. So I was fuming. I was like,
how are you going to do that?
I was like, yo, how is she snaking me? I was so angry. Yeah, I wanted to let me not talk to you. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I was fuming. And it's it's like I felt like just no one was helping me in the situation, and I was so angry, man. It's crazy. But I was like, gee, as a young boy, I was probably 14, 15 then. No, not even 16, 15, 16. Why should I be feeling like that?
That's what I'm saying. Especially as a young black boy, we're not taught how to deal with emotions like that.
Literally,
bro. Teachers need to take more responsibility.
That's what I mean,
for their role in mentorship. I said this in the last episode. I'm saying it again because that's like the way that teacher was acting. She's just playing with your life.
Literally.
And it's not a joke. She is playing with your life, bro. This is your life.
Because even that story reminds me of someone else. I'm not gonna speak their truth too much because obviously they're not here. But I forgot what the situation was, fam. but they end up, it was year 11 as well, they end up getting taken out of all their geography lessons, fam. And obviously geography, you have coursework. The man didn't get to do no geography coursework.
See, word.
And he just didn't get a grade.
That's a joke. No.
I thank God I patterned all my GCSEs. Literally, I thank God in that. Like, bro,
that's just playing
it was
with
hard times,
someone's
man. No
life.
cap.
It's mad, you know.
And it's
They
like,
chose to do that, fam.
and that isolation place is not a place to be, fam. That's where
That's
the real bad boys are. You get me? The guys who say, "Oh yeah, I hate school." I'm there listening to that 20. How's that gonna make me? How's that gonna make me feel moving forward? Like,
Prison mentality that they're
crazy,
man.
Even the room in isolation, bro. Have you been on that? Fam, you're lucky if you even get a computer from.
Gee, I prefer to be excluded, fam. That's how.
I can't lie.
Where
Real
they put
talk.
you? In removed?
There's 2 separate
yeah.
rooms. So
Okay.
they might put you in like, it's like I don't even know what that other room
T6.
was. What?
T6 came later though.
Not T6. Like the remove room.
Yeah.
And then there's
That's-
a room next door to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a special room though. I
Yeah,
feel like
that-
everyone in isolation and removal was in.
What was that thing?
BSU.
BSU.
That was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
isolation. That was everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm an expert. I'll be real. Unfortunately, but that's I know the ins and outs of that place.
Yeah, isolation is stupid because even when you're in there, you don't even really feel like doing work from. You know,
exactly.
like, from the whole room just down. You got people just chatting shit in the corner.
And you're still fuming, fam.
Yeah, real
Literally,
talk.
bro.
Like, you should even be there more time. Like, you should even be
That
here.
sounds like solitary confinement.
Bang, bang. And the thing about solitary confinement, they put you there to think about what you did.
Yeah.
And that's all you can
That's
do.
all you're doing.
I hear this,
That's
yeah,
it,
this,
that's it,
yeah.
isolation.
This is one of the craziest situations I've been in school, yeah. So cool, I come into school now, I'm in registration. And then one silly little mentor came to my class with the post-it note. You know when you see the post-it note, you know someone's going somewhere, you get me? So the mentors come now, my form teachers read the post-it note, yo, Samuel, speak to someone outside and go outside, and obviously a teacher came to me, said, Carl, I'm gonna need you to go to isolation. And I was like, why? So I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that, but I want you to go there and just think about what you've done.
Wait,
No, don't. Are you mad? Do you guys hear that?
The thing is, I wish I was lying as well.
Well, you
You
said
get
this
me?
was tutor time as well. So
Tutor time.
Bro,
Beginning of the day.
Bro, you
just got
man
there,
just
though.
got
Get
in.
me?
you actually just got off the
Bearing in mind
that
that-
makes sense with it.
Gee, so obviously, I want you to go there and think about what you've done. So I'm stunned. Because
they say something like that and they expect you not to get angry.
you know what I'm saying? I'm stunned. I'm like,
bro.
what the hell?
Even the most calm man won't take that down.
I argued for a bit, but obviously my argument wasn't leading anywhere. Cool. I went to isolation now. I was like, cool, let me just firm this day. And then obviously, move forward. Next day, I promise you the same thing happened.
What?
And it's like, this was good, but it's like, I'm not knowing why I'm here. And I'm getting angry because like, this is a boy band.
Yeah.
All my guys are living their best lives and that. I'm sitting in isolation, thinking about what I've done and I don't know what
You
I've
don't
done.
know what
You
you've
get me?
done. That's dumb.
And it's like, this was going on for a while now. And obviously, every day I'm just getting a bit more angry, to the point where I'm fuming now. Like, these men are talking to me. I'm not even regarding them how I should be regarding them because they're just disrespecting me. You get me? But it's like, I feel like I can't go and tell my parents like this because I feel like, what is there to tell? Like, you get me? And my parents will just like, yo, you're going against authority again. So this is all me again. It's just boiling my head. And the next thing you know, they bring me to the room and say, I can't lie, we're going to have to exclude you.
Huh?
And they said they're going to exclude me because I've been rude to teachers. As a result of them putting me in isolation and telling me to think about what I've done and them not telling me what I've done. So I didn't even get excluded for this original issue and that. Yeah, it was for my reaction. And that's when I realized, this shit's crazy. Conversation. Shit's crazy, but listen, looking back on it, bro, you just have to keep your head up, man.
You said prison instead of school, everyone would believe that was prison.
You know.
Yeah, it's mad,
You know.
What is
Well, did you ever find out what you did, man?
Well, I found out,
Okay, bro.
and obviously I have to keep that one on the reps.
But still, though, man, no matter what you did, they still have to tell you something.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It was crazy still, but that was the life I was living, man.
Any other stories before we cut?
Gee.
We can go all day from man. So,
It's just one of the few, you get me?
A story that stuck with me is like, I remember there was a fight, top floor history block. And I was outside, when we used to just come in for school by the tennis courts. I remember I had Ari.
That's so far from the history.
I remember I walked past, Joe, Richard, or whatever.
I wasn't even trying to mention the man's name.
I walked past him, yeah.
Yo.
I walked past him. Went to history class. Fight happened. Next thing you know, he was knocking on my door with Miss Whelan. Not Miss Whelan, what's her name? Murphy. Asked me, was I there for the fight? But I was like, I walked past you in the tennis court. So how could I be there when the fight happened when I was walking past you? He was like, no. Just talking rubbish in my ear.
Fucking.
That's just a small glimpse as to what we were going through. Yeah. And it's like I said, you can't put all the blame on the teachers because maybe we, did a lot to stand out. But it's like, if I'm standing out, why are you trying to dim my light? You know what I'm saying? Trying to picture me as, something I'm not and I've never been. And then indirectly, you're leading me towards that path. You get me? And it's like, it's just building a rivalry between me and you. And if you're my teacher, why should we have a rivalry if we need each other to grow?
It's true.
Real talk,
You
though.
play this for the teachers, this episode.
It's actually true, though, man.
But in saying all this, you can say it's the teachers, and they have like an older version of how the school system used to be, and obviously we're like the newer school generation. But at the same time, I don't see many people in our generation wanting to be teachers. So how is that gonna stop if none of us want to be teachers in knowing what a student in today goes through?
Yeah. But like that comes down to what I said earlier about the type of people that are taking these jobs. Like, I'm not even talking about the qualifications. I'm talking about like your character, who you are as a person. If it's your job to mentor and nurture, and you're just there because you got a bone to pick with this person that represents someone from your past, then you shouldn't be the person for that job. But I don't know how you stop people like that getting into these jobs. Because people just lie.
Yeah, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's like if you got the qualifications and you fit the criteria, then you're gonna get a job. I just feel like if anything, I feel like the best teachers are the ones who are really passionate about the students. They have a passion for the job, and they relay that passion through how they interact. You get me? Because as much as the job is to teach, it's a social job as well.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to be able to interact with people like properly.
It's the same with like when you study to become a doctor. Like, okay, you learn the science behind everything and by the biology, but you also learn how to interact with your patients and how to be a person and empathise with people. I think that should be something that maybe is incorporated to the training in becoming a teacher. I mean, it probably is, but just not properly. But yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, if no one has anything else to add, I think we're done.
I remember, one last thing, I remember, because obviously I didn't go to Luton Sixth Form or any Sixth Form in Luton. I went to this white school, so I didn't want to say it was I enjoyed my time, yeah, but I remember the first year was the worst time for me, because I remember 2 weeks of me being there, they already said, oh yeah, some of the teachers think I'm cocky. I was like, what do you mean they think I'm cocky?
And that's all them.
What does that mean? Like, I don't even speak to you, so how can you say that I'm cocky? And then next thing you know, throughout the year, I went on stage 4 report, attendance report. I didn't even miss a lot of sixth form. At big 17, and they're showing me all this disrespect. And I remember they said, you might as well look for other places because you don't know if you're going to be here next year. I remember them saying that.
They were trying to force you out, 100%.
100%.
Did you get through?
They asked me to come to the school.
You see what I mean?
But second year was a lot better because obviously
I respect you for making it through.
Yeah, a lot better. A couple more black people turned up to the school, so I think I was like 1 of 3, man.
Crazy.
One thing I'll just say on that to all the young people still in school and that, just listen. You're gonna come against a serious prejudice. You're gonna come against some teachers who you just feel like they're blatant out racist or just something along those lines. But literally, just bite your tongue, innit? And through you biting your tongue, smile as well. Yeah, make sure you're smiling so they never see what you're feeling on the inside and that. If you've got someone to speak to, about the problems, who will actually listen to you, speak to them. But I'm just saying, keep your head up in that car. You're gonna go through some tough times. But tough times never last, innit?
True, they never last.
It's only the tough people, you know what I'm saying? It's serious.
True though. Yeah, definitely find a teacher you're comfortable with, man.
Yeah, man.
Because I knew you and I
For me, it was Mr. Sonda, fam.
That's exactly what I was
She
gonna
was
say.
she was amazing, fam.
When they wrote down our quotes, I messaged her
I
straight.
learned.
You know what it is, yeah? I'll be so real. A couple man don't even like him, but you see Mr. Augustin, yeah, that guy's a real guy sometimes.
So everything, he was calm.
He'll come and he'll speak some facts to me and I'll take it in, bro. It's no cap, like.
Mr. Bazingi.
Couple teachers I got a shout out, man. What's Miss Vadek? Hey, you see, Miss Vadek's probably my favourite teacher, innit? But the drama teacher.
Okay.
Shout out to Miss Vadek still. When she left,
Yeah.
when she left, I was excluded, bro. I was even gonna buy her a gift. I was never on that, but I was gonna buy her a gift still. But I was excluded. I had to write an email and that, but shout out to Miss Vadek. Come on, man.
Mrs. Daniels, Mr. Sondo,
Governor.
Mr.
Gale.
Governor,
Daniel.
Mr. Gale for
Mr. Gale.
sure, man.
Yeah, all the PE teachers, they done their
Nah,
things.
trust
They done
me,
their
trust
things.
me.
Miss Large. Miss Large.
My guys. So I'll pull up to our flex. They'll still say happy. They'll still say wagwan and that. So,
Is it?
yeah.
Let me pull up nowhere. Stay home.
Bro, best believe Joe still messages me on Twitter, fam.
What?
Bro, he tweets me, bro. I got evidence, bro.
I watch you see you doing rugby professionally, yeah. It's like, oh, come to your school talk. Come to your school talk and then watch.
Tweets me. Where is he? Joe
Joe.
Richardson.
No way.
Well done, fella.
Why is he messaging me on Twitter, fam?
This is incredible.
Shameless.
This is
Shameless.
That is a joke, you know.
Shameless.
I didn't even know that.
I hope he's listening, though. I hope he's listening, though.
Prick, fam. Why do you message me? Terrorizing my life in school. Want to message me because I'm doing something.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, I think we're done. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Project Noir, yeah.
Niggas know.
Project Noir, yeah.
We're gonna have that on the shirt, fam. Come on, that's on the shirt, fam. Oh, pattern, bro.
Get all of these shirts.
I'll set them up.
Thanks for listening.